Alright, I think we are live. How's everybody doing? Rage Nation. We did a stream today for the Final Round Game Shop, and now we're just doing some late night painting. Had a couple people that wanted to hang out, so I mean, if we only have a couple people, that's fine. But I'll wait for a few viewers. I'm also going to check on my YouTube to make sure this looks good. Let's refresh that. There we go. I think that's going. See what this looks like. Not bad. Alright, but yeah, we're going to do some painting. Just letting people know. Where's the crisis protocol group? So yeah, we're just going to do some painting, have some fun. Got one viewer, and there is a chat, so if you guys just let me know when you pop in just who it is, that way I can just see who's kind of on the live stream. Because like I said, it just tells me that I have a viewer, it doesn't tell me who it is. Let's see here, does it tell me in there? It just says one watching, so whoever's watching, welcome. Glad to hang out on a Sunday night. But yeah, so I got the core set crisis protocol stuff. And if you're on Facebook, try to jump over to the chat on YouTube if you can. Just because YouTube, I can actually see the comments while I'm kind of streaming. I don't really have... I can bounce back and forth between the Facebook one and... let's see if I can find it on here. The Facebook one and the YouTube one. It's easier for me just to see the YouTube one. Where's my page? There we are. See, it's popped up on there. Yeah. I'm just not going to look because it's just more annoying to find that stuff on Facebook. So yeah, hopefully everybody's doing all right. So, but anyways, I got the core set, so we have the good guys and the bad guys. Now, I did prime these guys brown, just because I like to use that primer. It's light, but it also gives it a little bit of texture. But as you guys can see, especially if I hold up like Spider-Man, the blue kind of contrast paints go weird over this brown. So I'm actually going to have to go back over it, and that's some of the stuff I'm going to be working on. Also just putting in some of the fine colors that I need for these. And yeah, just kind of shooting the crap while we hang out. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to grab a brush. And plus I just kind of want to show off some of the speed painting stuff that I do. Let's get this blue. I haven't washed, the only model that I washed so far is this Ultron, which literally this is just metal with a null oil wash, and it turned out pretty good, except for the base. I haven't done that yet, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Multi-stream, does that do anything? Yeah, okay. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything while I'm talking, just hit up the chat. And let's see here, don't need any blue on him. I don't know, let's hit some blue up in the old Doc glasses here. Probably a little too much. You guys are going to see me use my thumb here, and I just use that to get some of these excess paints off, especially when you put too much on an area. Don't be afraid to get paint on yourself. I don't know, let's change this up a little bit too. Let's put some blue in there. Yeah, and if for some reason, if it looks like it's a bad angle, just shout at me in the chat. trying to get this where, hey, it is Joe. Yeah, Joe, just type away and I'll, these are actually Joe's models, so if we do have a few listeners now, a few watchers, listeners. I'm used to listening because most I run the podcast with Chris, but these are actually Joe's models. So I'm finishing these up for commission for him. And I was just showing people with these Crisis Protocol models, I primed them in this gray, and the contrast paints kind of went over a little bit weird, where they came out kind of glossy and they look okay, but I'm actually going to go back over them now. So I'm actually hitting the blue up again. I'm going to hit it with this kind of Altdorf blue, which works for Captain America because that's kind of the blue that he uses anyways. But yeah, just kind of painting. I was just saying I want to go ahead and start streaming more, just because I feel like since we're all kind of in lockdown, it's just good to hang out. And especially my wife sent me an article just a minute ago where it was talking about this next week could be like one of the worst weeks that we're going to have during this whole experience, the next 2 weeks or so. So they're highly encouraging, especially these next 2 weeks, to just kind of hang out in place. So yeah, I figure helping people out, I can at least stream, still talk and hang out with people, talk some nerd, show some of these painting things that I do, since a lot of people ask like how I do certain things. And Jacob wanted me to start also streaming as I paint America's ass. He wanted me to start streaming for his shop because, as most of the shops are struggling to find an online presence, since most people aren't going to be able to go to their shops for a little bit. So yeah, but glad to have you guys on. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, if you want me to kind of show it a little better in the camera, just let me know. I'm just going back over this blue right now. Just because it didn't go super well when I did this with the contrast paints. And we're actually going to put out a new episode for our podcast here this week. And one of the things we talked about was actually the contrast paints, and we were saying what we liked about them. And one of the things we talked about was just being careful what you put the contrast paints on, especially what you prime with, because sometimes it doesn't come out super great. So yeah, going back over what the contrast paints kind of sucked doing. And you guys see I got my assembly line set up here. So I always, speed painting, you just always got to have it boom, boom, boom. Once again, any questions, just hit me up. YouTube chat's the best one to use because that's the one I can see directly. I can't really go to the Facebook one while I'm doing this. So if you're on Facebook Live, you're just going to have to go to the Rage Quit Wire YouTube channel if you're going to want to give me some questions. But yeah, nice little Sunday. Just read. I'm actually been reading a lot of the Ender Games books to my son, which, I didn't think I'd like reading them, but they're actually pretty interesting. Alright, I think we got the right kind of blue on Captain. So you can kind of see now the blue's a little... Man, I've got to figure out how to get this to focus a little better, because it wants to... It's like this camera's kind of tricky because it actually wants to compete with what it's focusing on. So I got to kind of play with it. See if I can get a good look here. Come on, new camera. It's like wants to focus on my hands instead of the model. There we go. Just gotta like remove my hand from it. Like I'm some kind of hand model. Oh man. Gotta paint his shield too. This is where I kind of like just randomly look up pictures as like a reference. Captain America. But I think the shield just has blue in the center one, if I remember right. Yep. Yep. So we're going to paint the center part of his shield blue. Yeah, because the contrast paint on this gray kind of came out like greenish. So we just got to make sure it looks blue. Alright. I'm going to say, Joe, you staying safe out there, man? I don't know what you're doing on a Sunday if you're just hanging out at home. But get back in the shot there. And a lot of times I tell people when you're speed painting, because like I just got a little boo-boo there. I got some blue on this shield on the part where it's going to be white instead of just on that blue part. And the good thing about paint is you can always go over it again. So don't be scared if you get it like on something that shouldn't be that color. Because you can always go back and fix it with like a wash. I'd say it's going to be a little crazy here. So just make sure you're staying up. I'm also there. I'm not going many places as it gets a little crazier. I know, at least by the time this, Joe said he can't wait to play Crisis Protocol, and at least by the time this thing's done, I mean, this stuff's going to be painted and ready for you. It'll probably be ready for you before we're able to go out and see people again. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, doing whatever spiders can. That's how that song goes, right? But yeah, I'd like it where, like, when I do this kind of thing, I wouldn't say advertising it, but at least getting a handful of people that just want to come on and check things out. Need to get it where... I'm going to mess with it more and figure out how to get this camera in just right. It's going to take a handful of these things and going back and looking at them, seeing what angles worked. I don't know about other people that paint. I always feel weird when I'm like painting butts and crotches and stuff. It's a little awkward. It's like, sorry, dude. Spins a web, any size, catches thieves just like flies. Is that how that goes, Joe? Oh, man. I nailed it. I know I got it. That's good. I mean, honestly, the thing is I want to get feedback about what looks good, what people enjoyed, and I can always adjust fire as needed. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just going to take some practice. First couple times doing this, it's going to be a little weird. I'm just trying not to make it awkward because it always is dumb when you go on to something like this and it's like, well, I'm going to use this paint here and oh yeah, that looks good. I'm going to put a happy tree there. It's like I try to make it at least somewhat entertaining to sit here and watch and listen. So, alright, I think that's good there. Alright, you don't need any blue. Nope. Already got the blue on you. Once again, you just notice I'm doing the assembly line. Who needs blue? That's what the color is right now. Do you need blue? Good. I know you haven't played a ton of games, Joe, but from what I understand, Captain Marvel's pretty good in that game. Especially if somebody like that you're playing against has a lot of energy attacks. she's a real good pick because she's better defensively against energy. So she's definitely one that I know a lot of people have been selecting and keeping. It's kind of weird because I'm almost just dry brushing with this darker blue over this kind of greenish blue, which I'm not used to doing with these contrast paints. Usually these contrast paints stick a little better. For some reason this blue did not like this brown, and that's part of the thing I'm experiencing with these contrast paints is just figuring out what colors, what primers work with them, what you can put them over. Yeah. I was waiting for Russ to hop on. You need to go on Discord and talk crap to Russ. Tell him Pete's streaming and he's going to come on and give me some, give me some shit. Let's see here. Is that good? Nope, she's got a little bit there. Sorry, Captain Marvel, I don't mean to paint your crotch and boobs, but... Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of those games where you start seeing all these models, and it just makes you want to play the game. I'm kind of there with Malifaux right now, where I see all these cool Malifaux models, and I'm like, oh man, I want that. We need time.
Animals can get the coronavirus.
Oh god, all the animals are going to die.
No, I literally said on the radio.
Okay.
There's like 4 dogs and like 3 tigers.
Yeah, that'll be alright. We'll make it work. Night, bud. Yep, see you in the morning. Alright, I think that's good. So I think I'm done with the blue. Let's see if we can get more than just me and Joe on here. Alright, so now... Don't need that. Are we ready for washes? We need more browns. We need like yeah, I need grays. That's what we need. We need a gray. Yeah, any help people can give on trying to blow this thing up a little bit. We're really, as a channel, starting to try and focus on a lot of our video content. That's something that Chris and I both want to push a lot this year. And yeah, we're just excited to do it. Of course, it's easier to do that stuff when you got people watching, but it's like what we started doing with the podcast. Because when we first did the podcast, I think we had maybe a couple listeners, like maybe a dozen. We just sent it out to friends and we were like, hey man, give us a listen, give us some feedback. And like the first like 1 or 2 episodes were pretty bad. But we started finding our stride, and it's going to be the same thing. Of course, I'm painting out of camera right now. Okay, but it's going to be the same thing with this, where it's just going to take some practice to figure out, okay, what do people like watching? How can I make this more engaging? And eventually, hopefully that leads to a lot more followers. Yeah, yes, Stokes is still a part of the podcast. People will notice he's not on as much because we don't talk about Guild Ball quite as much. So we don't want him on just to fill the air. If he's going to be on, we want him to participate and give, some smart feedback and his impressions of certain games. So we are going to do games like we do want to do an episode on, he plays a lot of Middle Earth. So we are going to do something on that. But we're not going to have him on Malifaux unless he starts like playing Malifaux, just to have him on. So yeah, he's very much still a part of the podcast though. Because yeah, he's a funny guy. If you haven't had a chance to listen to Stokes, yeah, he's great guy to have when we have him on. We've been trying to record over the last errata that came out for Guild Ball, because they just had the errata come out and they nerfed a couple models and changed some of the rules for those models. But for some reason, we've just had a difficulty getting together. So Chris and I actually just recorded an episode, just me and him, because John was busy doing stuff. Good question, though. Yeah, we haven't fired John. He's been AWOL, but we haven't fired him yet. Ty just came in and told me that the coronavirus can be spread to animals now. I'm like, I don't know if that's true. If it is, whatever. They're animals. They'll be alright. I feel like they're more durable immune-wise than we are. Okay, so we got gray there. Yeah, let's do that there for him too. I really like doing gray pants, because when you wash it, it just makes it kind of look like black. Not a big fan. Like, I don't know. Do a lot of superheroes and villains wear like khakis? Like Jake from State Farm? What are you wearing? She sounds hideous. Sorry, Baron, I'm painting your butt. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. That one's for Rick. That's my boy. So once again, maybe people will come back and watch this. And I don't know. I think it's more fun to watch this kind of stuff live, but I suspect some people might start kind of going back and watching these, just to kind of check out maybe some models and some technique, which right now I'm just putting on all the base colors and I'm going to build up to it. So those of you that are kind of like looking for painting tips and not just hanging out tips, that's kind of what we're doing. So I'm going through and now I'm putting all the grays on, and then I'm going to probably put some browns on here in a minute. And then once I have all the colors down, I'll start doing a wash on all of them, and I'll let them sit for a while. I'll kind of put them aside. We don't need any gray for you. You don't need any gray. You don't need any gray. You don't need any. We just did that. Jump. Captain doesn't need any. Do I need some? I can use that wash on his boots, so we don't need that for you. Good there. I think we're actually good brown or gray wise. I'm gonna say, Joe, you're probably still playing your little phone game while we're doing this. You're just like, oh, I'm just farming my phone game. Let's see here. We need. Do we need yellow yet? No, I think I want. I think I need that black wash actually, or that black contrast. Okay, so this black contrast paint is amazing. So it's this contrast black Templar paint. Really one of my favorite paints. Talked it up a lot. So we're gonna do like, not Baron Zemo's. We'll do Baron Zemo's gloves at least. So we're just gonna kind of, and it's like I said, it's almost like a wash. These are really cool. Like, I don't like a lot of stuff that Games Workshop does, but man, their paints are supreme. Definitely a fan. we go. Got little black gloves on. Who else needs it? Not you, not you. No, we're good there. Do it on his boots. I gotta laugh too about like colors. Like some people spend a lot of time like thinking about how they're gonna paint certain colors. A lot of times I just kind of go with the model, just kind of what looks good as I'm painting. Like I didn't know what color I wanted to do these boots, but I'm just like, oh no, they kind of look like these massive black work boots. Let's make them black. I'd say Russ might still be putting the boys to bed now that I think about it. He's got to be home all day with two 10-year-olds, man. That can be rough. Let's see. Let's get this other boot. Damn it, Doc, your arms are in the way. Getting there, man. We are getting there. One of the challenging things while I'm doing this is actually kind of trying to paint, but also trying to make it where you guys can see what we're painting. Or what we're painting, what I'm painting. Well, he doesn't need a Google password to look at a YouTube channel. Yeah, I know I got older friends, but sometimes I worry about you guys. That's probably good. It's like, come on, Joe, you gotta talk some crap. It's like, and even I got in, Russ. What's up? I didn't have any issues. Start giving them crap, be like, what, man? You got Alzheimer's? Getting old, Russ. Let's see here. Let's do this. Yellow. Yeah, even if this turns in just like a hangout, I actually think she has. So Joe, I'm going to ask you a question, and you can tell me because you're a guy that watches and appreciates these Marvel movies. Now, I have not seen Captain Marvel, so am I really missing anything by not seeing that movie? So, because I do not know if it's worth going back and watching it. Because, like I said, Oh. Well, tell him to do a password reset if he forgot his password. But is it worth watching the Captain Marvel movie if I haven't seen it? Like, am I really missing anything there? Marvel. Okay, let's get those lines of yellow. Because I feel like it's almost where Captain Marvel is better in the Avengers than it is watching actually just Captain Marvel. Because actually I did like start watching it, Joe, and while I was going through Captain Marvel, it actually was kind of boring because she's like one of these military people, but she's not from their world, so she's kind of frowned upon, and she gets kidnapped or something, or captured, and she gets lost on Earth in the past. Is that how that works? I don't know. Don't know. Heyo, there's Russ. God, Russ, even Joe could figure it out. I'm telling you what, Joe's like on it with technology. Like some of you younger guys like me who struggle trying to figure it out, it's like, come on now. Must be all that military training that Joe got back in the day. Alright, that's kind of... I think that's about where I want that. I'll have to paint that yellow off her boob. Old Captain Marvel. Maybe I should paint those boots black. Glad you joined us, Russ. I was just talking to Joe about Captain Marvel and if I really need to watch that movie. Is there another yellowish? No, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. So, yeah, because I haven't seen all of Captain Marvel, and I was like, is it anything worth watching? I probably just need some silver on that. Yeah, I was telling Joe that isn't she like... Yeah, I need to shake that. Captain Marvel, like, really good, especially against, like, energy attacks. Yeah, Joe, Russ is the guy to ask about Crisis Protocol. He won our first tournament. Yeah, but, I mean, I'm okay with the feminist thing. Like, I don't mind that being thrown in my face. Because, honestly, it's one of those things where it's about time, right? About time women's got their roles. Plus, you know, men are idiots sometimes. That's okay. I tell my wife that all the time. It's like, you know, I'm an idiot. That's okay. Okay. Not going to worry about the bases. Bases always kind of do separate. Like, I'll actually wash all these models and then I'll go back and worry about the basing. I'm just picking up some of the silver that I missed the first time going over these models. Is there an alien cat in that? I don't even know. Like, what does the alien cat do? Is it, what was that, there's a DC cat that I used to love. Is Dexstar? Is, like, Dexstar? Like a cat that's, like, evil and angry? Tell you what, this Black Widow movie that's coming out will be pretty good. See how Nick Fury lost his eye? You know what I went back and watched that really didn't age well was like Austin Powers' Man of Mystery. International Man of Mystery, whatever it was called. That movie did not age well. Don't know if I'd go back and watch it again. But yeah, Joe, Russ is killing it in Crisis Protocol. Like, obviously he's not going to be like always winning tournaments, but Russ generally knows what he's doing in that game, and he played pretty much the stuff out of the core box. Yeah, I kind of, as I do the colors, you can start to see me, I'll start shifting models over that don't need the color I'm working on. So like right now I'm kind of doing this silver. So any model that I'm good with that doesn't need that, I just kind of put them to the side. And then as I find the one that does need it, I just kind of go to that one. So I'm just going back and hitting this silver up on like some of these pistols that I missed. And it might drive you guys crazy. I just made kind of, as I was painting this Bane looking dude, I got a little bit of the silver on his actual gun holster. I gotta mess with this camera. This camera likes to focus on my hands and not the model sometimes. It's kind of annoying. But anyways, I got some silver on the actual holster, and I don't have to go back and change that right away, because when I wash all this stuff, it's going to kind of take care of some of that. Plus my highlights will take care of it too. Yeah, that alien cat thing from that movie then, Russ, kind of sounds like just something to entertain kids while the grown-ups are watching the movie. Which is fine, but that's something they do in Hollywood all the time, right? Now that I'm kind of a dad, I can understand those kind of things. It's like, oh, that's kind of cheesy, but, you know, it works. Well, I know it. Our local guy that runs all our events, Evan, it's like, I think he's scared that he's going to get the virus just from talking to people online. He thinks he can get it through the computer. Dude is going on some like super high lockdown. He's not playing around. Surprised he doesn't have a battle bunker. I don't know, how's the like, while I'm actually painting the model, I don't know, what's it actually look like to you guys? Because I know it's not super detailed in some of the areas that I'm focusing on. But I don't know, is that pleasant to the eye? Is it okay? Do I need to bring it in closer? Or is this fine? I mean, really trying to get feedback as I do this more and try to improve it. And try to get more people on here. That should be good. You guys tell me. Because this camera is actually pretty good. I just find that it fights for what it wants to focus on. Alright, is that everybody? I think that might be for silver. Moving on to the next color. And now as I do my assembly line, you'll see me start to shift them back that way. It's just kind of like this back and forth of as I go through my paint colors. So now I'm going to do this like Screaming Skull. I'm going to try to pick up all these kind of cloth Screaming Skull colors, which not all these models are going to need. You're good. Doc Ock doesn't need it. This is the main model I need it on. Yeah, Russ, I was putting together your models on the stream today, and I started putting the Valkyrie model together, and I was like, oh god, I hope nobody's getting freaked out by her head being in 3 different pieces. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is there. If people just kind of like seeing the general colors, and then as I finish up maybe put it in to field of view where you can see the model closer as I kind of work on it. I actually don't even know how Venom works. Like, what's his big deal, Russ? What does he actually do when he's on the table? Like, the model looks really cool. That's all I know about it. Besides his flipping tongue. But what's he do when he's actually on the table? It's the question I have. Is he a bruiser? Like, what is he? What would you say he actually does here? Why don't you just cut out the middleman? Because I take the information from the customers. It is interesting, kind of also, because there is a slight lag. So as you guys kind of type it, I'll reply to it, and it has a little bit of a turnaround. He eats people. Venom eats people and heals himself. That'd be gnarly. Okay, a little bit there. Alright, I think we're done there. See, also, I have the problem that I was never a big Spider-Man person. There's so many snacks. He's got the munchies, man. Gotta be careful with these whites, though. It's like I'm painting around all this black, and it just takes one slip up, and then I painted something white that I didn't want white. So, don't need there, don't need there, don't need there. I don't know, is Spider-Man's spider logo white? The one I used isn't Runefang Steel, it was actually the Iron Breaker. Move that up a little bit more. Yeah, that's so bad. It's kind of bad with the light there too. But anyways, this was the Iron Breaker. I do use Runefang, but obviously Runefang is going to be a lot lighter. So I do use that as well. Spider-Man images. It's kind of black, isn't it? Spider-Man's logo. His eyes are white though, so you can use white on those eyes. That's going to have to use the wash to clear up that. Yeah, I was just kind of looking at that. It looks like it's black. Is the symbol on his back even black? This one that's in the middle of his blue section of his suit? I think that's black too usually, isn't it? I think so, but I'm not pro on. And some of those pictures I was looking at didn't really have a great look. Telling who? Telling what, Spider-Man? I don't even know what you're talking about, Russ. I had to laugh. Let me try it on. Oh, are you talking about the image on the stream? Is that what you're talking about, Russ? Yeah, on your phone, I'd imagine that it's hard to see a lot of the detail. Like if you watch this on your phone, you're kind of just there for the conversation and maybe some strategies on how certain things get used. I don't know. Maybe. Captain America and the Avengers. Tell you what, there used to be a bad Nintendo game for the Avengers. When I say bad, it was a ton of fun. Might have been Super Nintendo, but actually I think it was Super Nintendo. Let's see here. Man, I don't need you. Ooh, I do need a belt buckle on you, though. Hooray. Like, generally it looks okay, but I don't know. Let me... If I put this full size... Yeah, it's a little blurry when I'm looking at it on the stream. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on it a little bit more. Like when I don't have it full, it looks okay. But like, I'm gonna hold up Doc Ock until it kind of shows up here. Because I want to see if I can get this to look okay. But like you can see them and you can kind of see what I'm doing. Yeah, this is lagged probably by, oh man, it's like at least like a 30-second lag. Yeah, I don't know. Comes in really blurry on but I don't know. Like I said, we'll experiment with it. And I just, of course, got the same color that I don't need anymore. Yeah, but see, it's one of those Logi 1080p cams. I don't know unless there's a way on the settings. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I need to look at the settings and maybe, and I can't do this while I'm on there. So I might have to get the settings and kick them up all the way. That way it can use them. Because on YouTube, when I'm using them, the most it'll go up to is 480p. But the camera is easily a 1080p camera. Like, I don't know if you guys can... and like I said, I'll mess with this more as I do more and more streaming. But I don't know if you guys can look at the quality on your settings, and the most it'll let me onto when I look at it on the actual YouTube site is 480p. So that's less than half of what the camera should be doing. So I think if I mess with the settings, I could clear this up. I don't know. I'll just keep painting and we'll figure it out. Yeah, because when I was holding up Doc Ock, like I think, like you guys can see it like here, okay, just not a lot of the detail. So we'll mess with it. That's why I want to do this more and more so I can get more and more experience with it. Let's do like a gold belt buckle with that. Actually, I'll probably, because Jacob's like a wizard on this. Like, he does a lot of cool streaming, but he'll probably be able to figure out what settings will look really good. Do I need any more gold? I feel like you could probably have gold there. Yeah, because I actually think that when I did my phone the other day, I'll go back and look at the video from my phone, but I think my phone was actually clearer than this webcam, which it shouldn't be, but it was. I'm using the shop camera that Jacob had is the one that he's using. This is one that's actually a step up from that. So that's what I'm saying. With this camera, it should be streaming a lot better than what it's actually doing. I think Joey just brought the starter box most of the day with Venom. I think that's what Russ brought in that tournament. I mean, Russ can obviously correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, because I think Russ only had the starter box for the Crisis Protocol tournament and Venom. Which, I mean, that goes to show you, I mean, that's why this game's pretty cool. Because you don't need to buy, like, the OP stuff to play it. Because there's some OP stuff in the box that you get when you just pick up the starter. Alright, so we got gold. Gold, don't need. Well, the lag in time is just a streaming thing, so that's just something you're going to have. So whatever you guys type, it'll take me like 30 seconds to actually see in the chat box. But yeah, as far as the resolution, I'm going to mess with it probably after I get done. When I put the wash on these models, I'll probably stop it. And then I'll go ahead and mess with the settings a little bit. And then I'll talk with Jacob a little bit more to figure that out as well. Because, yeah, my camera on my phone, and Russ, you can let me know if you thought this because you actually went back and looked at it. But I think my camera with my phone up close took better quality than this is right now. And the camera on my phone's not anything super special. That is correct. Let's do some of these copper wires. Yeah, I don't know what it is. YouTube definitely is the one that controls it. Yeah, the phone was definitely focusing better. But yeah, I don't know. Which it wouldn't be too hard for me to do this with my phone. Because I actually probably could just set this up. Let's do a little bit there. Because that's the thing, like right now the conversation's fine, but I feel like a lot of it is just kind of looking at the detail of the model. Like right now, I just put some light coloring on the spine of Ultron, and obviously you guys kind of didn't catch any of that. Just because this camera is not focusing on up as well. That's okay, it's living and learning. Do you need any, you're kind of just... Alright, what other color do I need before the wash? I need boots on her. Yeah, because even with my phone, when I put a model like right under it, it looked really good. But like I said, with this, putting the model up to it, it doesn't focus really super well. Like right now it's just blurry. Like even on my preview, it's just blurry. So I'm not sure. Yeah. Yep. Nope, don't need that, don't need that. You're actually pretty much good. So is Captain. Captain Marvel's the one we need to put these boots on. Yeah, like I said, I feel like my phone was just taking video better. And I think it's just, it might be a settings thing, it might be the camera, I'm not sure. This actually is a pretty decent camera though. But I think part of the thing about streaming is you want to see what the person's doing. Like if people really just want to hear me talk and not see me doing this, they'll be like, oh, I'll just go listen to the podcast. Plus, I don't like putting out, shit work. I like to do things the right way. Okay, I think we can let that start dry. So she is done. You are done. We need brown belt on you. Crossbones is done. Captain America, or whatever his name is. Iron Man, that's the guy. We'll get there though. I appreciate, and that's why I wanted to get a couple of people on, like you and Joe, because I wanted some feedback and to get what this looked like, because you can't get more people watching when they're like, oh, look at this, I can't even see what he's painting right now. I'm not gonna watch this. And then if I'm just streaming the same crap, it's hard to improve. But at least I'm keeping up the conversation. Like, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I hold up my hand, I feel like it shows my hand better than it's showing the models. Of course, there's not as much detail on my hand. But I feel like it focuses more on the hand. Whereas when I hold this up, I want it to focus on that, but it's not. So I don't know. I'll ask Jacob about the settings and whatnot. The problem I have with my phone too, though, is I can't do live streaming from my phone. I have to literally, I have to record it and then upload it. So, I don't know. That's its own kind of problem. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it'll kind of focus. And it's like, nope, just joking. I wanted to focus on, like right now, it's kind of focusing on my paintbrush. So if I remove that, then it's trying to figure out if now it's focusing on my hand. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I gotta ask Jacob what he thinks. The phone I use is a LG G8, so it's a pretty good phone. The camera on it's pretty decent. I'd have to look at the specs. I actually think I'm just good to wash. This is where the liquid talent's going to come in. Alright, we'll use that. Man, it's hard to believe I've been sitting here for an hour already. That's what I'm saying. And that's why streaming's something that I think I should start doing more, because I can just sit here and paint, or I can play games and stuff. And it's not going to be something that is like super hard for me to do. Just because I feel like I can fill the space of time pretty well. You know, I'm pretty good at making sure there's not too much dead space in the conversation. Unless I want it to be. If I want the conversation to be done, then I'm like, yeah, okay, we're done talking. See you later. Boop, boop, boop. Just putting the wash on. Key for wash is just to make sure it doesn't pool up in a lot of weird spots. It's kind of nice, Joe. I had a guy on Jacob's stream earlier who he was talking about how he likes hobbying, but he just can't do it anymore, mainly because his hand-eye coordination or whatever, you know, that you need to do your hobbying just isn't quite there anymore. And I was actually telling him, like, yeah, that's why I like doing this kind of stuff, because I like doing this for people that, you know, they either don't have the time or they just don't want a hobby or just want to play the game, or they can't. So I was telling him about that and how, you know, I try to paint at a decently cheap price for people. Baron Zemo. I don't know why. Baron Zemo kind of looks like he should be on Team Cobra. I just love it when a wash starts to set in on a model. Just looks really good. Once again, I know that kind of sucks there, but that liquid talent starts to set in, haha. Which one are you talking about not being live? Oh, so it was live, Joe. But what happens is you can watch them after they're live. So, like, for example, this, like, I'm streaming this on Facebook too. But people that missed the live event can actually go back and watch it. So just because it's live doesn't mean you have to watch it live, which is the cool thing, right? Because you can go back and watch stuff that you missed. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is that I want to do this just to show everybody some tips and some tricks. Like right now, I literally just put the colors that I wanted on these models, the base colors, and now I'm just dulling them down a little bit with these washes to pull out the detail. And then I'm really just going to go back and highlight these things and dry brush them. Yep. Painting is fun, and main thing is I just like doing what we're doing right now, where it's just BSing a little bit while painting. Like, even though you guys are probably just haphazardly, like, just kind of checking in on your phone, it's just nice to sit here and be like, oh yeah, let's just kind of talk here, give some feedback, some talking, whatever. The goal is to do this eventually and have people who want tips to get better at painting. That's the goal in the long run. Like, if I can inspire people to paint some of their stuff, that's kind of like the goal. In the long run. Be like, hey, you need to learn how to paint? Why don't you go check out this Rage Quit Wire dude? Yeah, just go. It'll just pop up. He'll paint. He'll answer any questions that you have. That's kind of my goal. Good to have goals. I tell you what, my son got so pissed because I did the test video, right? So I was doing the test video on my phone, and on that one, literally, I just painted Ultron with the with this wash, and I showed Ty, and he was so mad because I haven't let him use washes, because mainly they're a little expensive, right? They're like, I don't know what, $8 a pop. So he was so mad because he saw what a wash does to a model, and he's like, that's crap, man, why can't I use it? And I'm like, because it's expensive and I don't want you wasting it. I was like, he's like, can I buy my own? I was like, yeah, you can buy your own wash, I'm just not letting you use mine because I need it. Because, you know, a kid, he would use it and it'd be like all on a model and half of it might get wasted. Alright, let's see, we're getting there. Getting. Alright, I think we're called Ironman okay with that wash. I don't care what you guys say about this Crossbones dude. To me, he's like Bane. Think now, this dude's Bane. Do. Yeah, it's annoying. Like, kind of just looking at this angle of the camera, like, I think the angle's good, and the zoom might be even okay, even though, like, my phone, I liked the closer up angle, but just the lack of focus and details kind of drive me nuts. I'm gonna send matter of fact, I'm gonna send Jacob here a message when I'm done. Okay, so this camera, what's a good way to get the detail? Get so I can see and focus. Bring up tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, you too, man. Like I said, I'm gonna work on the stream. We'll figure it out. I'm pretty good with this stuff, so it's nothing. You can't adjust it midstream. That's the only thing about it. I'm probably only gonna be on here for another 15 minutes, anyways. Yeah, just about another 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm literally just gonna set this wash and BS with you a little bit before I shut her down. Yeah, man, washes are definitely a good tool of the trade. Because I used to have to spend until I started using washes, I used to have to spend way more time doing all this highlighting and building up and dry brushing. So, like this effect I just got with her hair, like I said, I know it's kind of shit and you can't see the detail, but really pulls out the detail on the model. And then you can highlight and build off of that. Yeah. Citadel's the same. It's just the paint division for Games Workshop. Yep. Captain Marvel's kind of a cool model too. Sorry, Captain, I'm painting your ass. Don't slap me. Also got some cool God tier models I'm going to start painting for Jacob tomorrow. I primed him. Hopefully I can get this focus thing figured out. Maybe I'll do some YouTubing and figure out some tips that people have for streaming with it. That's the cool thing too about this age. Like, and Joe, you can remember this too because, you know, you're even past my generation, obviously, but the fact that you can just YouTube, like if I have a question, I can just go, oh, let me YouTube some videos and see if I can find a solution. I remember back in the day where if you didn't know something, you were just screwed, right? And that's the great thing about the kind of day and age that we're living in. Like just the fact that I can just YouTube something now really is helpful. Yep. I don't know, Joe. You kind of like this format though, where I'm just kind of sitting here talking while I'm painting, just answering questions as they kind of come up. I think that's kind of my best format that I could think of for this kind of thing, where I'm just kind of painting away, and if people have questions, I can answer them. Like that's kind of my idea, I think. Yeah, I also remember when IM used to be the big thing, right? Like you'd have IM open up on your computer and you would sit there and chat with people on Instant Messenger. So it's kind of like text messaging, but you had to be sitting at your computer. So I remember that being real big. AOL, right? Instant Messenger. I think that's pretty good, Captain. Yeah, and I like showing people this assembly line thing's just a good way to kind of knock it out. Like honestly, most people when I get done with this wash, you could call it kind of done. And hopefully when I work on this later, probably tomorrow evening, I'll try to do it again. But most people, you can see this post wash and you'd be like, okay, I'm good with that. Like I can leave that like this. Because like after you do a wash, and I say like a lot, that's something I'm trying to get out of the habit of doing because I caught it when I was doing the podcast. But yeah, getting more detail highlighting once you're kind of done with this stage is what I'll show people tomorrow. All right, Red Skull. Come here, belt buckle. And a little paint. And then Dr. Octopus. Just looks like he's sitting there judging people. Yeah, so I think once I get the camera going and corrected, that's something that I will definitely enjoy doing. Because like just sitting here kind of explaining, talking is a lot of fun. I just would like the camera to show better what I'm doing. That way, because, you know, people will get more of an idea of how to do things when the quality's better. You can also kind of see how quickly this kind of goes and kind of my paint style too. And there you go. Okay, and then just paint these ridiculous octopus arms. Oh, Joe, you used to paint. You probably see, like a lot of the stuff I do, probably stuff you used to do. Nothing new. You've been in the game even longer than I have. It's crazy because, like, I've been gaming since, like, 90, like, tabletop gaming since, like, 98. I was thinking about that the other day. Because, like, Chris is, like, generally the same age as I am. But as far as gaming goes, he's kind of a lot newer. So, like, I tell him about some of these old games, like 40K and stuff, and he's just kind of like, what? He doesn't know. Doesn't even know. Yep. You got her, Joe. You know. That's what I'm saying. When they came out with these washes, like there used to be glazes and stuff, but these washes really changed the game for a lot of people that struggled painting. And hopefully tomorrow when we do this, there will be a better focus on the camera, so that way we can kind of see how it looks after a wash. Yeah, really, gaming has come a long way, for sure. Like, gaming just has... Okay, you haven't been gaming. You probably, what, that's maybe 6-7 years before I probably picked up gaming. That's not bad. But I wasn't scared to be a nerd. I was still in high school when I picked it up. I just thought it was cool because I've always been artistic. Like I did a lot of painting in school and different other artsy stuff, so I thought the painting part was cool. Just putting models together. I've never done that before. Never did like model cars. So to me, just the building part was even cool. Now let's get a lineup here of. So we got the bad guys with the Baron, Mr. Cube, and then this Bane-looking Crossroads dude. Not bad. Not too shabby. Like I said, I know that the camera kind of sucks. See, and it's weird because there's like a brief second where it like has the model and then it just backs out of it. So we'll figure it out. That's kind of weird. I've always been interested in a lot of those historical tabletop games. Just the support for them is not great. Joe, let me ask you this. How's the audio? While I've been talking, even when I was talking lower, was the audio pretty good? Obviously, I can go back and listen, but just since I got you right here. Because the mic levels look good. I just don't know what they sound like on your end. Good. Good. So yeah, just focusing on that. I think if I kick up the settings on it, it should be better. I'll mess with that. Actually, there's a settings here. Go to YouTube to view your live stream. It also could be a setting in YouTube, kind of like what you guys were saying. Copy, normal, low latency, 360. Yeah, I'll just mess with it. Alright, Joe. But I'm going to sign off. Thanks for keeping me company and testing this out. And yeah, I don't think it went too bad. The only thing is, like, I like the format. I like what we're doing. Now we just got to figure out the electronic part of it, which really is just focusing where you can start to see the detail of the miniature, especially with when it gets kind of like up to this range. That way when I'm painting here, it's easier for people to kind of see. But I will see you later, Joe. Thank you for everybody that's going to check this out and just trying to fine tune